In this module, we will have a look at the benefits of using both the policies and quotes and the Sunrise screen tabs. During our training, we get you to go through to contacts and locate a particular contact. Then drill in and go to their policy and quotes tab. But you can see that there may be a number of different policy records that relate to this particular contact, and what you may want to do instead is look at all the records that relate to a particular policy number rather than all the policies for a client. So come up to the policies and quotes tab at the top of the screen and type into the policy number the number that you're after, and then you can see that we have 3 records that relate to that particular policy. Now if I scroll across to the right hand side, I can see that there was a new business record that was created on this date, and I've changed the substatus to be lapsed through non-payment, and then because it was billed, I've clicked on to cancel account to remove it from my debtors listing. Because this was a Sunrise policy, I also then had to go into Sunrise, so I took a deep copy and went into Sunrise and processed the cancellation on Sunrise. It's got a status of not billed because there was no money going back to the client. But you'll also see at the top of the screen we have a policy record which has the status of quote. Now what that tells me is that this was a deep copy of the cancellation record, because you can see it's the same value being listed there. Now if I click onto the premium, and that drills me in and takes me to the premium tab, but the tab I'm interested in is the Sunrise tab, and by going to the Sunrise tab I can then see that there are no Sunrise activities. The process is set to Sunrise, but there are no activities. So what that confirms is the fact that I went into the cancellation record and I did a deep copy and I didn't do anything else with it. Now for those types of records that are duplicates but don't have any function as such, you can remove them. The way to do that is go to the menu button under Sunrise and choose Delete Policy Link. Having done that, I can then go back to my Quick Quote tab and use the Delete button, or if that's not listed there, click onto the menu button and choose Delete to remove that record. Another very useful function for policies and quotes is if I'm doing my payment plans and I receive through the mail a number of remittances with checks attached. I'll come in here and add in my invoice number because I can read that off the remittance advice, choose Go or press Enter, and then drill into that policy number and go to payment plans. Now this saves me a lot of mucking around going through the contact, finding the correct policy record, and then into payment plans to make the payment. The Sunrise screen tab at the top of the screen gives me a listing of all the Sunrise policies. If I do a query and locate the policies that we were just discussing, I will then see that the original new business has a grey folder and the cancellation record, which was a deep copy, has a yellow folder. If I scroll down as well, I can also see that the policy reference number, and I'm only interested in these last digits, the policy reference number is a 2 for this particular record, but if I go back to the original new business, the policy reference number is a 1. So to work out what is the latest version for a Sunrise policy, simply come to the Sunrise tab and do a query on the policy number, and the item with the yellow folder is the latest version. But in this case, and sometimes this does happen, we have multiple entries with a yellow folder. But as we talked about earlier, this was the deep copy. It's just simply a quote record. Nothing was done with it. This was the deep copy of the cancellation. So if you do see a number of yellow folders, what has occurred is that the latest version was deep copied a number of times, but perhaps nothing done with it. What you can do is investigate by drilling into that policy number, and because I did that through the Sunrise tab, I come straight to the Sunrise tab for that policy. If there are no activities for that policy, you can then use your menu once again to delete the policy link. That takes it off Sunrise, and return to Quick Quote to delete that policy record completely so that it's not confusing.